When should I change my investments? It's a question that Bob sent in, and I generally get this question from people. I get a lot, and it's usually from people when there's been some kind of external stimulus, right? Something has happened in the world, and it's causing them to think, hey, when should I change my investments? You talk a lot about having a plan, having investments, and sticking with it, but when should I change it? And so it's a great question, Bob. And so I guess really, if people are usually asking this when there's some external stimulus, then the real question is, should external stimulus change my investments? And sometimes that stimulus is negative, right? There's some global catastrophe going on, some big existential threat. The market is in free fall, and the talking heads are prognosticating endlessly about the end of the world and how everything's going to change, and this time it's different, and all of that, right? Sometimes, though, the external stimulus is positive. It's new economic data. It looks really, really good. The markets are surging. Are we going into the roaring 20s? And not the roaring 1920s. Is this going to be the roaring 2020s? And should we change something so that we can take advantage of the new opportunities and the great resurgence that's happening, right? What do we need to do to take advantage of these things? What do we need to change? Sometimes the stimulus is neither, right? It's not some big catastrophe or awesome opportunity. It's your brother-in-law discussing some new investing idea. You got an email about some new opportunity. Someone at the Y was talking about their investments return, and it just seems like they were better than yours. And are we missing out on something? Right? Is there something we should be doing differently than what we've been doing up to this point? But the reason, before we change our investments, right, we must remember why we have what we have in the first place. And to do that, we must go back to the beginning, right? It starts with a goal. What are we trying to accomplish? What do you want your money to do for you? Are you saving for retirement? Or are you already in retirement and you're using that money for retirement income? Are you saving for a down payment on a house or a cabin? What is the goal for this money that you have invested? After you clearly have a goal, then you need to create a plan. What will give you the best chance of achieving that goal? And then that plan is funded by a portfolio. All right, inside that portfolio, you will decide your asset allocation, which again is the percentage of money that you have devoted to the ownership of the best businesses of the world versus the amount of money you have devoted to lending to the best businesses in the world and to governments. Right? There should be an equity owner or a business loaner, stocks versus bonds, right? So that's the asset allocation. And so then you must also decide your diversification. What types of business will you own or lend to? And what are the fees that you want to pay? And then, and only then, will you select your investments inside of there. If this is sounding familiar to you, we covered all this back in episode 111. So go back and listen to that if you haven't. You can go to retirementship.com/111 and it will take you right to it, or just scroll back through your podcast player and you can find it. But it's a helpful reminder, right? That's the reason we have what we have now, is because it is best suited to help you hit your goals. The investments we have right now, if you've done all these things, if you have a plan, if you're working with me, are best suited to help you achieve your goals as you have communicated them to me. And so your investments shouldn't change unless your goals have changed. Your investments should not change unless your goals have changed. If your goals change, your investments may change too. Your investment portfolio, right, is the funding mechanism to fund all your goals, to give you the best chance of achieving those goals. And we begin with the end in mind. Therefore, if the end has changed, then the beginning may have changed too. Now, I say may have changed because just because your goals change doesn't necessarily mean that your investments will change. Right? If your goals go from retiring 15 years out to 10 years out, there's still enough time there, and you may not change anything because that time horizon is not close enough. There's not a big enough difference in that goal to change what we're doing now. Right? But certainly when we do need to make changes, right, as we approach that number and we do that, that's now obviously going to happen 5 years sooner. And so the way that we invest to switch you over from pure accumulation to retirement income will change, and that timeline will move up. right? So yes, it will evoke an eventual change in your investments, especially a change in the timeline of when we change them, but you wouldn't necessarily change them right now just because your goal has indeed changed. Ultimately, here we're talking about the difference between being proactive and reactive, right? That reactive investors are constantly watching the news and hunting for tips, tricks, and changes in the wind, right? They react. They react to breaking news, the shifts in polling data, and new economic forecasts. And again, anytime you hear anybody forecasting anything about the economy, the market, anything else, we must remind ourselves of the great quote by the Nobel laureate economist Kenneth Galbraith, who said, "Economic forecasting exists to make astrology look respectable." Economic forecasting exists to make astrology look respectable. So if that's your external stimulus, probably not a good reason to change your investments. Investing is not tennis, right? We're not constantly posed on the balls of our feet, waiting for our opponent to make a serve so that we can try to hit it back. We are here to invest for a goal using a plan and a portfolio. And all this constant reacting to what's going on just feels like such an exhausting and fruitless strategy. Investing is not tennis, right? We're not constantly poised on the balls of our feet, our hearts racing, waiting for our opponents to make a move, to make a serve so that we can return it. Constantly waiting for news and trying to react and change everything to try to see what's going to happen next and be on top of it. What a fruitless and exhausting exercise. Good investing is much more like watching grass grow. If you want excitement, go to the casino. We don't react to the external world. We make a plan and proactively save and invest toward that plan. It's a much better and more peaceful approach. When should you change your investments? When your goals change. Cheers. If you enjoyed that, you would love being part of our free membership community. It's called Retire Membership and it has a host of benefits all for free. For example, you can always buy my book, 3D Retirement Income, on Amazon. But if you join us at Retire Membership, we will send you either a hard copy or paperback for free, provide the ebook and the audiobook so that you can listen to it if you don't have time to read it. In addition to that, we'll also provide you with a bunch of content that you can't get anywhere else. For example, we have our quarterly Retire Mentorship magazine, which comes out quarterly and has no ads whatsoever. It's just timely content to help you stay the course. We also have workbooks for our free online workshop to help you get the most out of those, flowcharts to help you make better decisions, and a weekly email to provide timely content that you can unsubscribe from at any time. We never ask for any payment information, and we never share your information with anyone else. We just want to provide timely content and help you stay the course to retire successfully and stay successfully retired. There's no reason to wait, so join us now at retiremembership.com, or you can click in the link in the description and it'll go right there. We can't wait to see you in the community. Cheers.